Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Carter, the model investor, and my assistant Zap, who's around here somewhere as always. We are on about I have no idea, and about week 6. I feel like maybe it's 5 weeks, lost track of everything. I haven't done a video in a couple of weeks just because I felt like I didn't really have much to talk about, but I've got a few things to go over today. In my last video, I was kind of just preparing for tenants to not be paying rent, and I was going over my portfolio and trying to figure out, kind of just like an emergency plan in case none of the rents came in and I still had to pay the mortgages. And so I kind of went in depth into that, and so we're halfway through April now. So luckily, most of my tenants have paid this month, which is awesome. I have a couple of cash-paying tenants that are in single families that we haven't received rent from yet, but there's still a little time for that. One of them is kind of notoriously slow at paying the rent, so fingers crossed, but I'm sure we'll work with them to try and figure out something going forward. Luckily, a large majority of my tenants are either on Section 8 or some form of assistance from the government, so those checks came in as normal. Very grateful to have a portfolio that is largely supported by these types of tenants. More than ever, I really appreciate that now. And I just kind of got lucky with that. It's not, I've always been open to Section 8. I'm kind of an advocate, I guess you would say. And in the beginning, when I first started investing, I was a little scared by the idea of Section 8. But I think going forward now, we will see investment properties that have Section 8 tenants in them, actually being like quite a hot commodity because it's guaranteed rent, and unless there's a government shutdown, which, I mean, who knows, anything's possible these days, the rents keep coming, and so super happy with that. Got lucky. I do have I was also humbled by one of my tenants, this lovely family in one of my first single family properties that I bought in Syracuse. They've been there for 3 years, and they're cash-paying tenants, and they paid their entire rent on the first as normal, and even came in to pay some back rent that they'd owed from like a long time ago. And I was really just amazed by that effort during this time. Not only did they pay their full rent, but they paid, they got up to date on. There was a month where some stuff kind of slipped between the cracks, and there was some confusion as to whether they'd paid or not, whatever, but they paid all that up, and I was able to wipe all of the late fees for them that had been occurring. So, and I also sent them a gift card just to, say I really appreciate that effort during this time, and I wanted to acknowledge that. So I think they got that in the mail. An Amazon gift card. So let's see, going forward the next couple of months, what will happen. We're hoping that tenants that aren't able to pay will either be starting to get their unemployment, but I know there's been a backlog because there's been so many applicants for that. I sold a property. Actually, it closes officially on Tuesday, but I signed the deed I signed my part of the documents the other day via mobile Zoom, and we were able to notarize, through the Zoom session. Which was really cool. So New York State are allowing that at the moment. So I just had to send the original documents that I'd signed to my attorney, and they notarize it on their end. So that actually saved me money and time. I didn't have to bring my mobile notary to my house and do the whole thing. So that's kind of neat. So happy that that deal still went through. So this property was under contract prior to COVID, FHA loan, and they will be able to move in shortly. So they're excited, and I'm so grateful that they decided to continue with the purchase. A lot of deals were falling apart. I heard just from other investors and people that were selling flips and so on and so forth. So that was really great. I'm set to close on the 30th on the 3 unit that has been dragging on and dragging on. But luckily, tenants all Section 8, so we'll take that over, and then we plan to paint the full exterior. It's the big Victorian. I've posted it on Instagram. Check out my Instagram at TheModel.investor. But I'll post some more updates on that. But we need to clear some code violations on it and do some fixes, and so we'll get to work as soon as we close on that. And the 7 unit that I mentioned in my last video that I had been nervous in the beginning of this COVID outbreak. You know, the market, I wasn't sure if I should be saving extra reserves, or if it was okay to continue with this property that I had under contract. But I fought past my own fear and tried to kind of stay course. I knew this was a great investment. Nothing's really changed. It's still a great investment. There's 1 tenant out of the 7 that has not been paying this month. We got information from the current owner, but we have a plan for that, and it's got 8 garages, and I've managed to rent out half of the garages already. So I'm already winning as far as that goes. So we will deal with the tenant that's not paying. We have a plan for that. We'll see what happens. So that's set to close first week of May. So everything is continuing as planned. Not too many disruptions as far as deals. I had expected to see more deals maybe coming up the last week or so, but it's been pretty quiet. So when I say quiet, it's just the normal amount of deals coming up. I was almost expecting an explosion of stuff really cheap, people liquidating quickly, but maybe it's a good sign that that's not happening. People are just hanging on to stuff, or it hasn't hit us yet. But I'm eager to get some more deals happening. Obviously, either vacant or Section 8 would be ideal, like a lot of investors. So also, I'm looking into the possibility of finding some seller financing deals, because I know banks right now are going to get really tight. Although rates are great, I know, banks are a little nervous going forward, lending at the moment. So I might start looking for seller financing deals. So I'm kind of excited to kind of start digging and see what's out there. I just need to get these 3 places just closed and done with. And I was kind of waiting to see how April went as well with the tenants and who's paying. But I'm feeling really great about the effort that everyone's given as far as paying their rent, and so that's great. There was one thing I wanted to mention. A good one point that I just wanted to bring up, as far as when I was planning for the worst case scenario, like a month ago, like, okay, I have these mortgages that have to be paid. These are with bigger banks. These mortgages are with smaller community banks. And I started just to plan out if I had to defer anything or what my plan was going to be. That was obviously a last resort. We shouldn't need to do that at all. But one bonus and one thing that I'm grateful is I pay my own property taxes. So I only have one mortgage that the lender pays the property taxes and insurance with the principal and interest. So the monthly payment groups everything together. The rest of my properties, I pay my own insurance, and I pay my property taxes quarterly from my own escrow account. And I realized how valuable this is at a time like that, because it gives me a lot of options. So I have my quarterly taxes due at the end of this month. So if so for example, I'm able to be like, okay, do I want to use the liquidity in my escrow account to pay this, which is the money I put aside each month for these costs, or maybe I'll put it on a credit card, get the points, wait and see what the next couple of months, how we go, if I will be needing any extra liquidity for any reason. I have a newer business credit card, so I have 0% interest for a year. So I'm going to pay all my property taxes on that for the next 2 quarters probably, keep my escrow account liquid, get some points, get some cash back. I have an introductory offer of $500 cash back if I spend $3,000 in the first 3 months. So the property taxes will wipe that out. So that's perfect. And I wouldn't have this option if the bank was paying the taxes for me. So I also water bills, like all these extra utility bills. I'm going to put that on a credit card, make a note of it, of course. As soon as everything settles down, I will pay the balance off from the escrow account, and I'm continuing to contribute to the escrow account monthly. Of course, if things started to get tight and all my tenants stopped paying and things were I was going through my reserves, I may choose to, the first thing that I would hold off would be putting the money into the escrow, just in the meantime. So yeah, just that flexibility. So paying your own property taxes, insurance, not wrapping it into the monthly payment, just kind of gave me, I was just like, wow, I'm really glad that I do it that way, because it's a little extra work each month, but it really gave me the freedom to really play around with some options as far as keeping cash liquid and using credit cards and debt wisely. So I just wanted to mention that. But that's about it. I will update with some closings and things. I hope everyone's doing okay out there. I know it's super boring. I'm in Jersey City, so New York, New Jersey, everything's kind of shut down. We're just staying inside as much as possible. Got a few new masks from a local lady that's been sewing them in the neighborhood. She threw it out the window at me on the street. That was cool. And yeah, just kind of trying to read as many books and continue with my real estate course and stay sane and, wear normal clothes. I'm in jeans today. It's amazing. And I decided to put red lipstick on for no reason at all. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Stay safe out there, and I promise to post more. I've just been really slack the last couple of weeks, so I'll try and get something out next week. But I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching as always. Bye guys!